What's going on, everybody? Thanks for coming back to my channel. Today we're going to be making some delicious fish tacos. And I'm changing up the process a little bit. I'm still trying to figure out where I'm comfortable in terms of cooking and making YouTube videos. So today, instead of putting all of the ingredients on the table, we're just going to go side by side and main course. So you'll see the ingredients as I go. But if you need all of the ingredients for your shopping list, look down below. I have your full grocery list ready to go. So what we're going to start off with is two of our toppings for our taco. They're going to be a chutney and some crispy onions to put on top. The first thing we're going to do is brine our fish. So today I'm using cod, but you can use any firm white meat fish that you like to eat. I'm gonna add some salt. And most people brine turkey or dense meats like that, but you actually can cook your fish and do pretty good. So what I put in here was about 2 tablespoons of salt. I'm gonna add some water here. Make sure all of those are covered. I have my glove on so I can stay pretty sanitary. There we go. Most of them are pretty covered. And I will put these in the fridge for about 15 minutes. All right, so now that our fish is brining for 15 minutes, we're gonna start with our onions. So just take an empty pot. I'm gonna use the same one I had the water in. Make sure it's nice and clear. Boom, we have our pot. We're gonna drop in about 2 handfuls of onions. Here, we're going to add about a tablespoon of salt to our onions. I also added some green onions. I just thought that would be nice in our fried onions for our tacos. Add that salt and sit the bowl to the side for a while. That salt is going to pull moisture out of the onions. After 15 minutes, wring out the onions and you'll notice a lot of liquid that comes out of those. Give them a nice squeeze and put the onions themselves in a new dry bowl. Okay, so now that we have our fish brining, we also have our onions kind of brining at this point. We're gonna start on our chutney. So we're gonna make a spicy mango chutney to put on top of our tacos, just to top it off and make it even more amazing. So we're gonna use green mangoes. Do not use ripe mangoes for this type of chutney. All of the mango chutneys that I've seen, they do not use ripe mangoes. So yeah, try to get your mangoes green if you can. If you can't find green mangoes, just buy mangoes that are super hard, not ripe at all. We have our garlic here. We also have some culantro, also known as shadow benny. You can tell that it's culantro because it smells like cilantro if you're used to cilantro, but it has very jagged leaves. It's also called sawtooth leaf, I believe, in some regions. We have some chilies. Typically I would use a habanero. I couldn't find one for some reason in the supermarket, so I'm gonna use these little hot guys right here. I like spicy food. We're also gonna have our salt to taste, and we are going, some people use sugar for their chutney. I'm gonna use honey on this one just to see how it comes out. I don't think it'll be bad, but we'll see. All right, so we're gonna add in our mangoes. There we go, lost one. I'm gonna add in our culantro. Garlic. Our chilies. We're not gonna add in our salt or pepper yet. I'm using the NutriBullet for this. The NutriBullet produces a very fine paste. If you don't want it to be so fine, most people prefer their chutney a little bit chunkier. Use a regular blender. I want this to be super fine because we're gonna be squirting it on top of our tacos. All right, so once you open up the blender, you're just going to season to taste. I believe here I just added about a tablespoon of salt. So just salt it to your own taste. And also, since I did not use all green mangoes, I did not need to use a sweetener. It had a slight sweetness to it, so I was okay. Okay, we're on track. Now our chutney is done. Our fish is brining. Our onions are brining. So now we're gonna make a sauce. We have coconut milk. We have mayonnaise. I use Walker Wood jerk seasoning and mustard. This is all gonna be about cooking to taste for you. I'm just gonna give you a starting point. All right, so here I put 3 spoons of mayonnaise. I'm going to put in 3 heaping tablespoons of mayonnaise. Just a little bit of coconut milk. I would say that was about a tablespoon as well. I added 2 squirts of mustard. I really like spicy food, so I put in about 2.5 spoons of the jerk seasoning. And a half. There we go. I'm gonna stir that up. So it's time to make our tacos. I have my cod. You can use any firm white fish that you would like to make your tacos with. I have granulated onion and garlic powder. I have black pepper, smoked paprika, some chili powder, and we're gonna use salt, of course, to get our batter right. I also have some beer here. I am not a beer aficionado, so I just picked a beer. From here, I have my flour, and I also have some cornmeal. So let's get going. All right, so let's get started on this batter mix. I'm gonna add roughly 2 cups of flour. And then we're gonna add in about a cup of cornmeal. I started off with a half and then I added more. And now we're going to add our spices. So here is some onion powder. I was near the end, so I just added the rest. You can't go wrong with onion powder. Some chili powder. Cayenne pepper. And some black pepper. Last but not least, we're going to add in our garlic powder. And I also added the smoked paprika. In a separate bowl, we are going to add some beer. Make sure you give your beer a taste, just to see if it tastes good. It wasn't bad. Stir up your dry ingredients. Oh, and I also added some salt. Cannot forget salt for your batter. Make sure it's nice and stirred up. Now for the wet batter, I'm experimenting a little bit. I've seen people add chicken bouillon to the wet portion of their batter. I didn't have chicken bouillon, so I added beef bouillon just to see if I could taste it in my batter. It definitely is not absolutely mandatory, but you know, it's always fun to experiment. And then slowly pour that in and stir your mixture up. You want your batter to have the consistency of pancake batter. If your wet mixture isn't enough, just add the rest of the beer. Once you get your batter to a pancake batter consistency, we are ready to go. So heat up your oil and we will begin frying. The first things that we will fry are our onions. So make sure your oil is heated up to 350 degrees. You can use a thermometer to make sure that's the temperature, and then drop your onions in. While those are frying, we'll go ahead and batter up our fish. So I drained out the water and I rolled those in dry flour, and then I rolled those in our batter. One thing I've noticed when I'm frying fish or anything like fish is that if you roll it in a dry batter before you roll it in the wet batter, it helps the wet batter to stick to the fish. So I'm just going to prep a bunch of these, and then when the onions are done, we're going to start dropping the fish. All right, so our oil is at 350 degrees, and let's go ahead and start dropping this fish in. Look at that batter. Yes. So fish doesn't take very long to fry, especially when your oil is at the right temperature, which is 350 degrees. I like to cook it for around 4 minutes or so. What you can do is sample the first one, which is always a fun job, just to make sure that they're cooked all the way through. While the rest of those fry up, we're going to start on our Pico De Gallo. So I've prepped some chopped up tomatoes, we have a lime, we have our jalapenos, we also have some white onions chopped up, and our cilantro. We also have some red cabbage chopped up there, but we're going to use that as a standalone garnish. So I added my tomatoes. I'm going to add our white onions as well. In go our jalapenos. And our cilantro. I'm also going to add some green onions, a little bit of salt, and then we're going to squeeze our lime in there. Once you're done, give that a good stir. And once that's nice and stirred up, you are ready to go on your pico. All right, everybody, we are done. It is time to build our tacos. So I warm up my tortas nice and hot. Let's get some fish. Let's see, that's a good piece there. See that? It's another nice piece. And look, you know what I did while I was kind of finishing everything off? I dropped some mushrooms in the batter as well. So if you have somebody that's a vegetarian, you can drop some mushrooms in there and they taste just as good because the batter is amazing. So I'm gonna have a mushroom taco. Put 2 of those in there. And let's see, I'm gonna add, let me get a spoon, here we go. Add some of our pico across the top of these. There we go. I'm gonna add some of our first sauce that we made. Get that nice flavor on there with the jerk sauce. We're gonna add in our chutney. Yes. I want a lot of chutney on it. There we go. And those fried onions on top of that one. There we go. On this one, I thinly sliced some red cabbage. And on the mushrooms, I'll do both. Yes, look at that. Can you see that? Yes, that's what you call tacos. All right, let me take a bite of this. All right, here we go. That's good. The chutney jumps out at you. And then after that, all the other flavors come in. The freshness of the pico, the crunchy onions give you more texture, and oh, it's good. So listen, I'm gonna finish this up. The last video I did, I couldn't close the video out because the food was so good. But try this at home. Tell me what you think. Smash the like button, subscribe. It helps me out a lot as I get started. And feel free to send me a message and let me know what you think. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time.